Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you've returned, thank you so much for returning. And in today's video, I thought we could just do a sit down chatty video where I just talk to you all about what I use to track my reading every single year. So you know what to do, guys. Grab a drink, grab a snack, buckle up, get cozy, get your apps in your phone out ready so that you can take notes on how I use my apps to track my reading goal. Let's get into it. So the first app that I have truly trusted, use all the time, is Goodreads. Now, my Goodreads I mostly use to set reading goals, to kind of complete the mini challenges that are on there, because I like to be a little bit like that. I like to complete the challenges that are on there, but I also have the opportunity to create friends on there and see what everybody else is reading, which I personally love. As someone who has quite a few friends who are readers, I really like being able to see what they are reading, what they want to read, and what they've rated books considering what I have rated books, which I find is the most fun part. But I also get a list of all of the recommended books that they think would match me given what I have recently read, which I find is a really nice feature to have on an app, which I have absolutely been loving recently, especially more now that I'm kind of going into my general fiction era stage. That has been really helpful for finding books that I will enjoy based off what general fiction books I have read. So that is definitely one or two tips that I love about Goodreads. Number two, with all of the reasons why I use Goodreads, I have been a Goodreads Stan member since 2022. I have loved Goodreads ever since, and I do wish that they had like half-star ratings. That is probably the only thing I would change about Goodreads, but it is the fact that they don't do half-star ratings. But they have got a DNF list now, which I found really easy for when I do DNF books, so I'm glad that that has come about. But I also find that with Goodreads it just tracks like all of my reading, how long I've read it, when I read it to when I finished, how many pages or how much percentage I read through the day. And it's just a really good app that I find really quick and just easy to use. And I usually set my reading goal on there every single year on the 1st of January, and it keeps me intact. It tells me how many books ahead of schedule I am, how many books are behind schedule if I'm ever behind, and tells me how many books I've read out of the reading goal. And it still carries on ticking through even after I've surpassed my reading goal, which I love. And it also keeps all of your reading years together, so you can see what years you read more for, and that's what I also quite enjoy. I could go back and see how many books I have read, and that sometimes helps me set a reading goal every year. I also use Goodreads for the idea that you can comment on people's stuff and be like, I rated this too. And I also just find it very friendly and user-friendly, easy platform. So that is one platform that I definitely use to track my reading. The second app that I use to track my reading is Storygraph. Now guys, I'm a big stan for Storygraph because I love it. It allows, when I do audiobooks, to put how many hours I've listened to, and it allows me to put my percentage in as well, which is another good way. And another reason is it will track how many pages I have read within that audiobook as well. So I really like that idea, and it just tracks how many pages I read a day. Tells me so much more statistics than Goodreads does. So for statistics, I genuinely believe Storygraph is the best. It tells me how long it takes me to averagely finish a book in a month and a year. It tells me statistically how much pages I've read in a year and in each month. Tells me how many books I've read in a year and in a month. It tells me my top rated authors, and I love that it tells me my favourite author of every month that I've read the most of, or how many books I've read from an author in the year, which has been absolutely amazing for seeing who I kind of have read more from as in the year. The next feature that I love is the fact that it tells me what type of books I'm reading. So it'll track genres. It'll track whether it's fast pace, medium pace, or slow pace, which has been an absolute dream for me. And yeah, and it also has half ratings, so it's stunning. And I find books are easier to find on Storygraph than sometimes I find Goodreads, especially if they're Kindle editions or audiobooks. I find it easier on Storygraph to find the books that I am looking for or I have read. And again, you can create your want to read list, you can create a read list, you can do all of the normal things that you would be able to do on Goodreads as well. And it's just stunning. I have loved Storygraph for so many years until I found this app, and I still think I love Storygraph and I don't think I will ever get over Storygraph, but I also had Fable. Now Fable for me has become a true love. I have created my own book club on Fable. I have had a reading streak to see how many I literally love the idea of a reading streak on Fable. So it basically tells you your longest streak, what your current streak is now, and I love that idea that it keeps how much you've read, and like you can also have so many books on the go at the same time and it will track every single one of them. You have a want to read list, you have Scout can pick your TBR as well, which I think is so good. The fact that you might not know what you want to read, so you just choose Scout to pick for you, and I just think it's stunning. And again, there are so much interactiveness on Fable. You can comment on people's posts, like people's posts, you can share people's posts, you can put up posts yourself, which I just think is an amazing platform to have. You can join book clubs, you can make your own book club, which I especially use that function feature for. You have so many great options on there and I literally just love it so much. Fable is being one of those. Again, it tracks how many authors that you have or have read from, who have been your top ones. It just tracks so much, and for me it's been an absolute lifesaver, especially when I do get in a reading slump. I end up scrolling, and I find that when I scroll on that, I find books that I actually want to read, which is absolutely perfect for what I need as well. And I don't think I would have a TBR. It's because I did if it wasn't for Fable and Goodreads. I generally believe that because of what other people are putting on and on their Fable accounts and like what they've read and what they've rated, etc. But you can also connect and make friends on there as well, and you can see what they're reading. And I really like this feature on Fable the most is that if you've read the same book as the person that you are friends with, it literally tells you your comparisons, and it literally also tells you the books that you match with. So for example, I could match with somebody and say, for example, I don't know, the Fearless book by Lauren Roberts was a 5-star read for me. It would then tell me if they've read the book and what they rated it and if we match, which I think is just stunning as well. I just love that idea. There's so many things that you can use and do on Fable that I think it's such a great platform for readers to have. And yeah, I literally just love tracking my reads, and that is just one of the many ways. That's like the digital format, but I also have my reading journal that I also use to track my reads, and I do have a Notion tracker for my series tracker as well. But for tracking mostly my reading, I do have a reading journal that I do by hand when I feel in the mood to be a little bit more creative. I have been finding just putting it in Goodreads and Storygraph and Fable have been easier, but when I do go back and I do end up in that creative mindset, I do go back through all of the months and add all of the books that I have read. And for me, I just love having a physical copy of my reading journal and being able to go through a couple of years and go, I read that and I thought that was 10/10, like, you know, and just going through all of the books that you read. I think next year when I do choose to do my reading journal, I want it to be a bit more creative. I feel like mine is a little bit boring, so I feel like I definitely want a bit more creativity in mine next year. So I definitely feel that my reading journal should be on top game next year, I hope. And I also just find as well, like, tracking my reading isn't about a competition of how many books have you read or how many books am I needing to read. Like, I genuinely just love seeing the statistics of the books that I read, and I think that is solely why I do track my reading. For me, I'm not that phased how many books I read in a month. I'm not that phased about how many books I read in a year. For me, I just love reading and it fuels my reading, and especially at the beginning of the year, I find once Christmas is over and I buy new books, I end up falling in a slump because I don't know what I want to read or I don't know what to pick up. So normally having kind of my reading apps with me really helps me choose and get in gear to stop and prevent that reading slump. But yeah, I've literally been reading since 2022, and majority of these apps I've used nearly throughout the whole of my reading experience, guys. But I will always link my Storygraph, my Goodreads and my Fable in the link down below, guys, so that you guys can access my Fable, Goodreads and Storygraph profile, and you can see and explore the app for yourself. And of course, what not better than to be friends on a platform where we can just chat all about books. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope it's given you a little bit of more technical apps if you're wanting to have something more on your phone, considering a reading journal. Couldn't get the words out. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye, guys.